Welcome to California in Focus. I'm Johnny Edwards, Southeast investigative reporter for the Center Square. I'm joined by Maddie Shannon, California reporter for the Center Square. Maddie has an exclusive story about some Jewish and Christian groups suing the activist group Code Pink for allegedly disrupting some church services, to put it mildly. Maddie, tell us a little bit, what is this Code Pink?
Code Pink is it advertises itself as a feminist grassroots organization that got started more than 20 years ago, mostly to protest the U.S.'s involvement in the war in Iraq. And in the years since, it has taken a number of other stances that tend to be more on the liberal side of the political spectrum than the conservative side. They've taken stances on issues ranging from abortion to healthcare to funding for education and public housing. And in the last year or so, really the last couple of years, they've really targeted groups that are thought to be supporting Israel ever since the beginning of this juncture of Israel and Palestine's conflict in the Middle East. And that's taken on the form of protesting any groups that are thought to be supporting Israel or supporting members of the Jewish faith even. And in California, that has particularly taken on the form of protesting these worship services held by a Christian organization, the Christian Jewish Alliance, and the Mission Church, which in the lawsuit that was filed earlier this fall does business. It does business as the Mission Church, but it is listed in the lawsuit as Ezra Ministries, I believe. And that organization has worked with the Christian Jewish Alliance to host 3 different worship services this year in the San Diego area for Christians and the members of the Jewish faith to worship together.
So these are interfaith Christian Jewish functions.
Yes, they are.
So what do you think, do you have any sense of what Code Pink is hoping to accomplish by protesting these events?
I kind of don't. I think their main goal, not that Code Pink has responded to my inquiries, but I do believe that the protesters associated with Code Pink in this instance just want to deter people from entering the building where these worship services are held. And I think they just want to deter anyone from supporting Israel or members of the Jewish faith. That's the best that I can gather from their actions at these protests. But the organization itself has not reached back out to me, as I've been sending them emails and calling them, trying to get a statement from them and get them to answer my questions. So their overall goal, if there is one, I don't really know what that is at this point.
Interesting. Perhaps might be having the opposite effect, but who knows? So tell us about what the situation that led to this lawsuit. Exactly what happened?
Well, there have been 3 different worship services held by the Christian and Jewish Alliance and the Mission Church this year in the San Diego area. And a number of these protesters associated with Code Pink have shown up to these worship services and showed up with signs and yelled the typical protest slogans you would imagine you'd hear at these things at people who were genuinely trying to attend these worship services. Some of them have even infiltrated the building, pretending to be genuine worshipers before the start of the service. And then once the service starts, they've been interrupting the service and doing a number of other things that have caused great distress, apparently, to the people who are genuinely there to participate in the worship services. There is even one protester who allegedly jumped on the hood of a car of a woman who was trying to drive into the parking lot outside the building where the most recent worship service was held, as she was trying to find parking to go to the service. What I'm told is that there wasn't much damage to the car itself, and she and her husband, who was in the car with her, were not harmed, but the psychological harm and the fear instilled in them from that situation was very real, I'm told.
Well, tell us a little bit more about these groups that have filed this lawsuit. What else can you tell us about this alliance, so to speak?
Well, the lawsuit was filed by First Liberty Institute on behalf of the Mission Church and the Christian and Jewish Alliance. And they're seeking monetary relief, although they're not naming exactly how much money that they want. awarded to the two groups in compensation. But really their whole goal in filing the lawsuit is just to hold these protesters and the organization accountable.
I see. I see. How many times has Code Pink staged protests or done activities like this against these groups? Do you know?
I don't know. That was something I asked. I know that they've protested outside each of the three worship services held by the two organizations this year. Before that, I don't know if the organization or protesters associated with the organization showed up to any other events or services held by either the church or the Christian and Jewish Alliance. But I did ask the lawyer who is on the case, who is an employee of the organization representing these two groups, if this group, Code Pink, has targeted any other churches or Jewish synagogues or Christian or Jewish organizations in California. And that's not really part of the case, so I didn't really get a straight answer on that. But one of the things that they do want to do with this lawsuit is deter protesters from protesting worship services held by groups like the Mission Church or the Christian and Jewish Alliance, so that protesters like the ones at these three church services held this year don't go to any other organizations or churches or synagogues and do the same kind of activity again.
I see. I see. Now, a lot of times what activists are looking for is publicity, attention. Did these activities, these protests, did it even accomplish that?
It's too soon to tell, really. One thing I can tell you is that Code Pink as an organization is not named in the lawsuit. It's really just individual protesters who were named in the lawsuit. And since there apparently were a lot of protesters at the last protest, at least, if not the two before, there are several that aren't named by name in the lawsuit. They're just grouped into DOEs 1 through 40. But there are about 9 individuals who were protesting at the last worship service who were named by name in the lawsuit. But the organization itself, curiously, is not named as a defendant in the lawsuit.
But did the things they did at these church services, did those generate publicity at the time?
Oh, at the time, I can't tell from my research if there were a number of other news outlets that reported on these protests, but it seems that as far as this lawsuit, we are the only ones at the Center Square who reported on it. It's yet to be determined if the protesters at these 3 worship services this year succeeded in getting enough attention to either the organization or their cause in general, but time will tell.
Well, that'd be something else if the only publicity or the biggest publicity comes from the lawsuit, not from what they were hoping to do. But now I know you said that you've not heard from them or that they have not responded to you. Do you have any idea what their point of view is? If they filed anything, an answer, or have they made any statements, perhaps in writing or something like that?
Well, I've looked and they have so far not released any press releases or any statements on social media about this lawsuit. And I am not sure if they're going to get back to me to answer my questions. But hopefully with the publishing of this story, the organization will get back to me. But I am also looking for the lawyers representing the defendants named in the lawsuit to see if maybe I can get a statement from the lawyers individually.
I see. And what do you think is the question that they need to answer?
I think they would need to answer the question, what was your client trying to do by participating in this protest? Why would they go? Why would they shout the kinds of things that the plaintiffs are saying they shouted at them while they were trying to attend a worship service? And is protesting a worship service in the United States really the best way to protest the United States' involvement in the conflict between Israel and Palestine in the Gaza Strip? I do think that that's a question that needs to be answered. Right.
Well, thanks, Maddie. That's fantastic work. We appreciate you joining us. I'm Johnny Edwards for the Center Square. This has been California in Focus. Folks, thanks for tuning in.